Welcome back to Pilates by Brianna. Today's workout will be the 30-35 minutes. We will be using only the reformer, so you don't need any other equipment other than the reformer. I have on my balance body machine 3 heavy red springs. So you want something, we're pretty much going to be warming up with single leg footwork. We'll do a little bit of double leg, but pretty much going right into single leg. So I have on my machine a heavier single leg footwork setting. Usually I do 2 reds and a medium blue, but today I'm going to go for 3 heavy reds. So go ahead and get set up. You can have the headrest up if you would like, and I'll see you on the reformer.
Come to lay down on your back, and you're going to put the heels on the bar hip distance apart. Hands can go down by your side and find your neutral spine, so a natural position for you here. You're going to flex the feet towards you and begin pressing the carriage out and in, initiating the movement with the glutes. Exhale to press out, inhale to control the carriage back into the stopper. Knees will stay parallel to one another the entire time. Let's do 2 more like this. Last one. And then we're going to add in a march. So you'll press out, one knee will come in towards the chest, both feet on the bar to bring the carriage in, and switch. We're just alternating, bringing one knee in towards the chest here. A little march. You're working through the glute of the leg that stays on the bar. So a nice active motion. Trying not to rock through the pelvis at all. So the pelvis is staying nice and stable. One more march on each side. And then bring the carriage in. Right toes will go on the bar, left leg over the bar. As you press out, you're going to bicycle that left knee in towards the chest, and then it'll go underneath the bar to come in. So into the chest, and then you're bicycling that left leg underneath the bar here. So just be careful of the bar, try not to whack your toes on it. So you might have to go a little bit slower than usual. Nice controlled motion. Last one, and then bring it halfway in for pulses. The left leg will be underneath the bar. Pulse the carriage up an inch and down an inch with that right leg. Strong through that left hip flexor and the left quad. And then you're going to press all the way out, stay out, and you're going to press that left foot into the bar. Hold 1, 2, 3, release. Press it up, hold 1, 2, 3, release. We'll do a few more rounds here, working the hip flexor a little bit differently. Last time, hold 1, 2, 3, release. Bring the left knee in towards the chest and then bring the carriage on in. Now as you press out, left leg will stay straight. It'll go overhead and then do a little half circle to bring the leg around and down as you bring the carriage in. So when you press out, left leg will go overhead, half circle around and down to bring the carriage back in. Right knee stays parallel the entire time. So just be aware that as you circle the leg around, that right knee is not turning out to the side at all. Last time here, press out and then bring the carriage on in. Good. Now press halfway out again, left leg up towards the ceiling, little pulses with the right leg. Keep that left leg strong up towards the ceiling. Little control pulses here, down an inch, up an inch. And then press all the way out and begin lifting that leg more towards you. So working through the hip flexor even more. Just a very small movement. You're strong through the right leg, carriage stays still, bringing the left leg towards you. And then bring the carriage in and we'll switch sides. Left toes on the bar, right leg over the bar. As you press out, right knee will come in towards the chest and then shoot it underneath the bar for our bicycle. So we're doing a bicycle, but that right leg will go underneath the bar as you bring the carriage in. Last one. And then come halfway in for pulses, and that right leg is long underneath the bar. Little pulses with that left leg. Control motions, really feeling that quad working on the left side. And then press the carriage out, stay out. Begin pressing that right foot up into the bar. Hold 1, 2, 3, and release. Press up, hold 1, 2, 3, and release. Last press here. And then bring that right knee in towards the chest and bring the carriage on in. Now you're going to press out, right leg up towards the ceiling, circle around and down as you press or bring the carriage back in. Press out, right leg towards the ceiling, circle around and down as you bring the carriage on in. Trying not to rock through the pelvis, staying nice and stable here. Slight engagement in the core. Last time. And then press halfway out, right leg will go up towards the ceiling, little pulses with the carriage, moving the carriage out an inch and back in an inch. Controlled movements. Stay strong through that right hip flexor. And then press the carriage out, stay out, and bring the right leg closer towards you, towards your head side. So little pulses here like that, working into that right hip flexor. And then bring the carriage on in. Drape your legs over the bar, arms up towards the ceiling. Nod the chin to the chest as you roll up. You're going to take off 2 heavy reds, put on 1 medium blue, and then roll back down. So you'll have on 1 medium blue and 1 heavy red for our mid-back series. First, we're going to start with bridges though. Lower the headrest down if they're up. Heels will go on the bar. And then you're going to lift the hips up off the carriage. Inhale at the top. Exhale to roll on down. It is on a light spring. Try to keep the carriage in at the stopper as you roll your hips up. So really working through the hamstrings in order to keep the carriage steady. Next time you press up, you're going to stay up, press the carriage out, and then control it back in. Press the carriage out, control it back in. As you press the carriage out, the hips will naturally lower, and then when the carriage comes back in towards the stopper, the knees and the hips will lift back up, really digging into those hamstrings to pull the carriage back into the stopper. Last time out and in here. And then when the carriage is all the way in, you could roll the hips on down. You're going to pick up the straps, holding onto the short loop. Legs will go into tabletop, and we'll start with pull downs. Pull the arms straight down to your side, and then control the arms back up over the shoulders. Use the lats to pull the arms down, and then control it back up. Try to keep the knee at about a 90-degree bend, and have the knees directly over the hips. Next time you pull the arms down, we'll keep it down, and we're going to do hip raises. So go into the deep abdominals. As you lift the hips off the carriage, you can bring the legs up towards the ceiling, and then control yourself back down. We have 8 of these total. Lifting the hips up, controlling it back down, really using the deep abdominal muscles to do the lift. Last time here. And then arms will go back up towards the ceiling. We're going to combine that. Pull the arms down, pause, do 1 hip lift. Once the hips are lower, the legs are back in tabletop, arms back up towards the ceiling. Pull down, pause, do your hip lift, and then arms back up towards the ceiling. We'll do 6 more rounds here. Last time. And then when the arms are back up, you could rest the feet down just briefly. If you want to windshield wiper the legs side to side, you can. And then we're going to go into a tricep set. So bring the legs back up into tabletop, bring the arms down to your side, palms facing in, bend the elbows and straighten the elbows. So just working the triceps right now. We'll go for 8 here before we add in some abdominal work. Last time. And then you're going to straighten out the elbows, hold it straight, straighten out both legs. This is the start position. Bring one knee in towards the chest and then back out, and then the second leg and back out. So legs are nice and long, controlled motions. So really kind of a slow motion in and back out, really working into our deep abdominals. Last time on each side. And then bend the knees and bend the elbows. And then we'll kind of combine that. So you're going to straighten out the legs and the arms. And then you'll bring one knee in towards the chest as you bend the elbows, straighten everything out. And then the second side. So every time you bend the elbows, you'll bring a knee in towards the chest. We're going for 8 total, 4 on each side, halfway there. And then rest everything down. Good work. And then go ahead and put your feet in the long loops, and we'll do a quick feet and strap set. We're going to start with frog, heels together, toes apart, out and in here. When you bend the knees in, knees are slightly wider than your shoulders. As you press out, stay in that Pilates V, maintain that heel connection, and use the inner thighs to help bring the legs together. Last time. And then you're going to press out again, hold it out, point the toes, and begin beating the legs together. So we're still in that Pilates V, and you're beating the heels together, thinking of using the inner thighs here. Nice, quick little beats. And then find stillness, legs will stay long, and we'll go into Peter Pan. Bend one leg into frog as the opposite leg goes out wide. Pull them back together, knee straight, and then switch sides. Bend one knee into frog, opposite leg out long, and then using those inner thighs to bring the legs back together. And we are alternating sides. One more on each side. And then when both legs are straight, you're going to bring them back up to center, and we're going to go into hip circles. Pull straight down, circle the legs away from each other, around and up, and back to center. Pull down, circle away and around and up, and back through center. We'll do a few in this direction. Last time here. And then we'll reverse. So now you're going to open the legs away from each other, pull around and down, and back up through center. So just reversing our circles, going as wide as you feel comfortable, whatever feels good for your hip joint. Last time around. And then when the legs are overhead, you could bend the knees, take the feet out of the straps, hang up the straps, and come on up. I'm taking another roll up to come up, but you can also lay to your side and come up that way. And then we're going to take off the one red spring, so we are left with one medium blue. Lower the foot bar down, step off to your right. And then you're going to pick up the strap closest to you and turn and face the reformer. Interlace your hands in the short loop. Take a wide stance with the legs externally rotated, and then you're going to rotate towards the foot bar and come back to center. You're trying to rotate with your trunk so the core is engaged, belly button stays in, and keep the hips facing forward. So rotating to the foot bar and then back to center. We'll be adding a squat into these next. So now come to squat down, come up, rotate towards the foot bar, back to center. Squat, come up, rotate towards the foot bar, back to center. Thinking of using the glutes to come back to an upright position. And again, the knees are out wide, so you're in a sumo squat position. Last time you have your squat, and then rotate towards the foot bar. And then you're going to let the carriage come into the stopper and then come onto all fours. Put your right hand on the headrest. Knees are back. You're in a quadruped position. Strap is still in that left hand. Begin pulling that left arm back behind you and then back down. So we're doing like a pulling strap series on the long box, but we're doing it in quadruped. So pulling that left arm behind you and then back down, trying to maintain a nice line throughout the spine and watch your head position. A lot of people I find will have their head kind of hanging down. You want that to be in line with the rest of your spine. On this next one, keep the arm up, hold here, bend the elbow and straighten the elbow for triceps. We have 8 of them. Just bend and straighten the elbows. You're still working around that left shoulder blade to keep that arm in line with your body. Last one. And then arm will come back down to your side. We're going to repeat those 2 exercises with the option of straightening the right leg out behind you. So for more of a balance. So we'll start with our pullbacks. Pull that left arm back even with your body and then control it back down. You're strong through that right leg, strong through the right arm. That right glute is nice and active. Hips are square to the carriage, so we're not rolling through that right hip. Next time that left arm is up, we'll hold it for triceps. Bend the elbow and straighten the elbow. We're going for 8. Still reaching long with that right leg. And then let that left arm come back down to your side. Keep some tension on the rope. And then you're going to lower the right leg and lift the leg. So we're lowering and lifting that right leg, and you're stabilizing with that left arm into the strap. Core is engaged. Last lift with the right leg and then hold it up. Little pulses here, squeezing into that right glute and hamstring. Little pulses up an inch, down an inch. And then bring that knee on in. Good work, you guys. You're going to come to sit on the reformer, on the carriage. Legs will go wider than the shoulder blocks, and you have a little room behind you. The strap will go into the right hand, hold on to the tape, and we're going to put the left hand behind our head for a row with rotation. So we'll do a row and rotate towards your right, and then come back to center. With your legs, you're actively pressing into the shoulder blocks to feel some inner thigh engagement and to help keep the hips steady as you rotate. Last one here, still sitting up nice and tall. Good. And then the left arm will go out in front of you, and we're going to add on. So now you'll do a row with rotation. And then when you come back to center, you're going to rotate the other way, opening up through that left arm. So row with rotation, and then open up the other way, extending that left arm behind you. So just getting a little stretch through the chest, and you're still actively pressing into the shoulder blocks. Keep going here, sitting up nice and tall. Almost there. And then we're going to add on one more thing. So you have your row with rotation, and then as you open up to the other side, you're reaching towards the left foot. Restack the spine, row with rotation, open to the other side as you reach for your left leg. When you restack the spine, engage even more into the inner thighs to help work into the abdominals. So think saw exercise on the mat here as we reach towards the opposite leg. And then come back up to an upright position. Bring the legs through the shoulder blocks. You can stack one on top of the other. Make sure there's about a hand's distance behind you because we're going into rollbacks. Scoop the stomach as you roll back as far as you feel comfortable, and then restack the spine using your exhale to help you come on up to your flat back. Left arm can be out in front of you. Strap is still in the right hand, working the obliques a little bit since we only have the strap in one hand. Two more. Last one. And then come on up. I'm going to my long loop because we're going to be going into a T arm. You're going to open out to a T and then come back to center. You're still sitting up nice and tall. So active through those hip flexors, reaching through the crown of the head. We have 8 of these T arms here. And then if you feel anything into the neck or the shoulders, just drop the arms down a little bit so you're more in a low V. That would be a modification. Last one here. And then you can hang up that strap. Pick up the other strap. It's going to go in your left hand, and we're going to go into the rollbacks again, now starting on the other side. So strap is in the left hand, holding on anywhere from the tape to the short loop, and begin rolling back, and then come back up to an upright position. Really using the abdominals as you roll back, and I like to use my exhale to help you come back up. But for this one, there's no wrong breathing pattern. Last roll back here. And then when you're up to an upright position, you can hold on to the long loop. And we're going to go for our T arm, sitting up nice and tall. Both arms will come out to a T and then back to center. And again, you have that modification if you would like it, where you drop the arms down a few inches just to get out of your neck and your shoulders. Last one here. And then you could bring the legs, that way they're wider than the shoulder blocks. And again, we'll be actively pressing into the shoulder blocks. Strap is still in the left hand holding onto the tape, right hand behind your head. And we'll do our row with rotation. So elbow back, rotating to the left, and then come back to center, sitting up nice and tall the entire time. Again, pressing into the shoulder blocks, using your inner thighs to help you sit upright. Last one here. And then your right arm is going to go in front of you. We have the row with rotation. And as you come back to center, you're going to rotate to the right, opening up through that right arm. And then you'll row to the left, come back, and we're rotating the other way as well. So working into our spine in both directions. Last time here, bending that left elbow. And then we're going to go right into our saw variation. So row with rotation. And as you open to the other side, you're going to reach towards that right leg with the left. Restack the spine and repeat. You're using your inner thighs to help restack the spine And take your time with these, really work into the stretch. Last time through, reach towards that right leg, restack the spine. And then you can come out of that position. The strap will go into the right hand, come onto all fours, left hand on the headrest, and we've got our pull backs. Pull that right arm straight back to your side and then lower it back down, working around that right shoulder blade and into the tricep some. Neck is in line with your spine, core is engaged. And you want your hips directly over your knees, so don't have your knees too close to the shoulder blocks. You may feel a little unbalanced if that's the position that you're in. So just bring the knees back a little bit so it's under the hips. Next time you pull back, hold it back, bend the elbow, and straighten the elbow for our triceps. Last one, straighten the elbow and then let the arm come back to your side. We're going to repeat those same 2 arm movements, but this time you can have that left leg extended if that feels good. So we'll start with the pullbacks. Elbow is straight, pull that right arm straight back to your side and then lower it back down. And you want both hips parallel to the carriage, so we're not opening up through that left hip. Really reaching long through that left leg. Last time here with the right arm, hold it up, bend the elbow, and straighten the elbow for our triceps. Last one, then keep the elbow straight. As you lower it back down in line with the shoulder, you still have tension on the rope. And then begin lowering the left leg and raising the left leg, working into that left glute. And then hold that left leg up, little pulses here. Nice and strong through that left glute and hamstrings. Pulsing up an inch, down an inch, strong through the core. Strong through that arm, and then lower that left leg down. Step off to your right, face the carriage, interlace your hands in the short loop, find a soft hug a tree position. Legs are wide, hips externally rotated, and begin rotating towards the foot bar. As you rotate, you're engaging the core, hips are staying facing forward. Last one, and then we'll add in the squat. So you're going to squat down, come back up, rotate towards the foot bar, back to center. Squat, up, rotate towards the foot bar, back to center. 6 more here. Last round, squat, rotate, back to center. You can hang up that strap. We're going to put on 1 heavy red spring, take off the 1 medium blue, so we're left with 1 heavy red. Move the foot bar up. We're going to come to standing for a lunge set. You're going to have the right foot on the platform. I like having my shin into the foot bar for some stability, and then my toes are around the carriage. You're going to bend into the right knee as you press the carriage back into a lunge, and then use that right glute to come all the way back up to standing. Lunge back, and then use that right glute to come back up to standing. And again, I like having my right shin into the foot bar for some support, just as an option, or you can also use a platform extender. Two more to go. On this last one, we're going to hold down in the lunge, bend the left knee to bring the carriage forward, and then shoot the left leg out back. So bending the left knee and then shooting it back out. Strong through that right glute in our isometric hold. You can have a slight hinge forward too, so the spine is nice and straight. You're not arching through the back at all. Last one. And then next time that leg is out, keep it straight and come all the way in. Hands will go to the foot bar. Step back. We're going to go into elephant. Feet are towards the shoulder blocks. Keep the heels down as you press out. And then work through the core to bring the carriage back in. We're in a rounded spine position. Knees are straight, moving in and out of our hamstring stretch. And if you would like more of a stretch in the hamstrings, you'll be on the heels. Toes will lift off the carriage. And then bring the carriage in. Step forward, put the left foot on the platform, left shin into the foot bar, right toes wrapped around the carriage. We're in an upright position for our lunges. Lunge back, keeping the right knee straight, bending into the left knee, and then use that left glute to come all the way up. Taking your time, focusing on form, controlling it against the springs as you bring the carriage in. Two more. And then on this last one, you're going to hold it out and then bend the right knee to bring the carriage in and then press out away from you. Hinge forward slightly. We're in that nice hold in that left side. So keeping that left knee bent and out and in with the right leg. Next time you press out with the right leg, hold it straight and then come all the way back up. And then you're going to carefully come on off the reformer. We're going to put 2 more heavy red springs on, so we have 3 heavy reds. Come to lay on your back, and we're going to finish with running. Option to have the headrest up. Toes will go onto the bar. High heel position. Press the carriage out, stay out, and then begin alternating one knee and then the other. When you bend one knee, the opposite heel is going to drop below the bar, and then raising it up. So we're working into the calves here, nice and controlled for our running. One more on each side, and then next time that right heel is below the bar, we'll pause here for a stretch into that right calf. So we're just staying here, feeling a nice stretch through the back of the right leg. And then go ahead and switch. We'll bend the right knee, left heel will drop. Now getting our stretch in the left side. And then straighten both knees, bend the knees, come on in. You're going to roll off to one side and you were all done. Thank you for joining me. If you like the workout, please make sure to like, share, and subscribe.